Ayo! Welcome to episode 9 of Create This Book 3 by Moriah Elizabeth and Ashleigh Monet. That would be me. 2 Create This Book videos in 1 week. I know, you're like, what? So it occurred to me last week that Easter was right around the corner and I hadn't done any Easter art. And I like Easter. It's a fun little holiday to celebrate, so I didn't want to skip it. I looked ahead at my prompts and I thought to myself, I could definitely do an Easter theme for next week's Create This Book 3, but then that would have gone up next week. Easter would already be over. Nobody cares once it's over, so we're bumping it up. This is going to serve the place of my bonus video, and you guys get 2 Create This Book videos in 1 week. Win-win. We have 3 Easter prompts to tackle this episode, so enough of me talking. Let's jump right in and see what I can create. For our first prompt of the week, create triangles. Create an animal using only triangles. In the spirit of pagan Easter, I chose to do a little bunny alongside an egg and a little duckling. I wanted to use my ruler to make some perfectly straight lines, but even though it was clear I was struggling to get them lined up with each other, so I just went rogue and decided to freehand the lines. This made the process very slow, and the lines are less than perfect, but that's all right. I used a thicker liner for what would be the outline, and my micromicron for all of the other inner triangles. This was tricky. Even though I had sketched this out ahead of time, as I was going through, I noticed several spots that I had overlooked where I had used straight lines but made shapes that weren't triangles. Rectangles, rhombuses, trapezoids. I think I got them all divided into triangles as I went, but I wouldn't be surprised if I missed 1 or 2. I'm sure you eagle-eyed subscribers will let me know in the comments if I did. Uh-oh, colored in that eye off camera. Switched over to the duckling, had a much easier time with this one for some reason. Maybe it was just because I was in the swing of things or I actually did a simpler design. I don't know. But Cody and I were having this conversation about what bird represented Easter better, the chick or the duckling, and we both agreed it was the chick. So naturally, that's not what I chose to draw. What can I say? I wanted to draw a duckling, okay? Don't worry, a chick will sort of kind of come up later. With these designs, I wanted to make them like those geometric animal tattoos that a lot of people choose to get. And when it comes to color, I feel like people kind of overwhelmingly choose to make those tattoos watercolor style. So I'm gonna do that. And rather than simply splatter actual watercolor on these, I had to complicate things. There's something I've seen on Pinterest and always wanted to try. Basically, you scribble on some plastic with a washable marker, spray it down with water, and then when you lay it down on your surface, it creates this effortless watercolor blob of beauty. I decided to give it a go. Hold on. Probably can't see what I'm doing. Okay, that's better. So here's where things got complicated. I wanted to do splats of orange where the bill and the feet are, but I couldn't just color over the drawing because you eventually have to flip that plastic so the colors would be backwards. Instead, I just tried to eyeball where those spots were in reverse. Spoiler, that did not go well, but let's go ahead with the plan. Time to spray it down. I didn't realize the spray bottle is like perfect for the prompt. It's all geometric and triangle-y. Okay, here comes the flip, and it was at this point I was able to see how far off I was on those orange spots. But for some reason unknown to current me, past me decided to lay it down anyways rather than wipe it off and try again. Ugh, it was a disaster. Not only was the placement off, but it didn't even feather out as much as I hoped it would. I think this paper just immediately absorbed it. That's another thing, it bled through 3 pages. I didn't realize that right away, so I tried another round of yellow, making it really wet this time. It still didn't feather, so I abandoned this plan and switched over to what I should have done in the first place, regular old watercolor. Whatever, it looks way better now, so I guess it was worth all the trouble. Now I hate to be a quitter, so for the bunny, I decided to try the plastic again, but using watercolor instead of the marker. I definitely didn't want it to bleed through 3 pages on this side. But even using the watercolor, it still didn't work great, and after 2 tries, I just reverted back to regular watercolor application again. Funny how every time I try something new, it never really goes well for me. It's as if the universe is trying to shove me back in my comfort zone. Anyways, gave the eyes a little highlight and then decided to add sparkles all around the animals. If I'm honest, it was fine without them. Better even, but what are you gonna do? Here they are, finished. There was a lot of potential here. Things just went slightly astray with the coloring process. Oh, and I eventually noticed this inexplicable orange spot. Reviewed the footage, don't know where it came from or how it got there.
Why?
Oh, hey, hi, let me interrupt for just a quick sec. So I just wanted to give everybody a fair heads up well ahead of time. I'm going to be taking this weekend off for both Easter and Phoebe's birthday party. She's turning 4. And since I normally do my art on the weekends, that means that next week's video is going to be late to start. I won't get around to doing the art till the beginning of the week. So the video will not come out on Wednesday like normal. We're going to go ahead and push it to my Saturday upload, and then there'll just be no bonus video next week. But that's all I wanted to tell you guys, so back to the video. We are on to the next prompt. Create a finger painting. Use your fingers to paint. The bleeding! Everything is so bloody. I assumed it was nothing a little paint couldn't cover, so I laid down a nice Easter color, a pastel yellow. But lo and behold, after multiple coats, we still have the orange ghosting. So I tried to get crafty and blended in some pinks and oranges to camouflage the spots. It was effective in hiding the spots, but I don't like it. I really wish it could have just been yellow. But let's move it right along to the star of the page. I don't want to say that I was confident because I definitely was not, but I was hopeful that I'd be able to finger paint a cute little lamb. No lie though, this one almost broke me. I have never stressed so hard over a piece in this book. I think just knowing how I would have painted it normally, but not having that level of control at all with my fingers, it had me so frustrated, way too frustrated. I used white for the base of the lamb, a little pink for the nose and ears, and tried to add some shadows with a light muted purple on the left and a light muted blue on the right. I was hoping that those two colors would give the lamb a good contrast to that yellowy orange background. But I had to work in so many layers on this. I would do some shadows, but then they'd be too dark. So I'd try to blend them with white, but then the shapes would look off. So then back and forth and back and forth and back and forth I went. There ended up being so much paint on this page that it actually was cracking at the end of it all. Once I was feeling semi-okay with how it was looking, I had to add some darker details. The inner ears, the eyes, that little mouth. I primarily used my fingernails for the fine line details. That was rough. I feel like lambs have that little face where it always looks like they're smiling and it's so cute, but I think I took it too far and now this lamb looks creepy. More tweaking and layering, and it was at this point I had my moment of clarity and came to accept that this was a finger painting. It was not going to be some brilliant work of art, and I could only drive myself insane trying to make it so. So with that, I did a couple of highlights, signed and dated the page, and moved to decorating the prompt to look like a little framed painting. Cute. Well, this is the finished product. If I had to rate this one, I would not score that high. It's just not a favorite, but considering it's a finger painting, I think I should give myself a little grace. I mean, I do think he's kind of cute. Kind of, sort of. Okay, we've got one more. Create a short story. Write a story using only 5 sentences and give it a creative title. Here I present my short story, The Origin of the Easter Bunny. Is the title creative? No, but it is informative. I wrote about how the Easter Bunny came to be. Here it goes. Once upon a time, there was a bunny who dreamed of becoming a chick. His best friend, who was a chick, said, "You can't be a chick unless you can lay eggs." The bunny was determined to lay an egg, so he sat and pushed for days. Suddenly, he felt an egg pop out underneath him. He was the first and only bunny to ever lay an egg. The end. Okay, it wasn't profound, but come on, I only had 5 sentences. Maybe it would work for a children's book or realistically, probably more like a baby's book. The art theme for these pages is just typical spring watercolor, green grass, blue skies, and for this illustration, a sweet little Easter bunny and his legendary egg. Added a hint of black for the eyes and the speckles on the eggs. And as always, once the base is laid down, I've got to punch up the colors and add some detail with colored pencils. Got those blended out, and then juicy highlight time. For the first time in ages, I decided to break out my corner punch and round those edges. Back to the book, and we've got more bleed through. No worries though, we'll be covering it up right about now. Aw, this one was simple, but I think it's really cute and really captures the Easter spirit for me. I'm feeling super excited for spring this year, a time of renewal. But of course, we can't move forward without taking a look back. We created triangles, making this geometric tattoo-inspired pair, an Easter bunny, and a cute little duckling with a watercolor effect. The failed watercolor splatter method aside, I do like the end result of this one, and hey, at least I tried something new. We created a finger painting. Using only these digits, I created a completely mediocre but reasonably cute little Easter lamb. This one pushed me to my limits. I struggled, I stressed, I contemplated giving up. But that's what I like about this book. It pushes me outside of my comfort zone. And lastly, we created a short story, The Origin of the Easter Bunny. 5 itty-bitty sentences about how the Easter Bunny came to be. I had fun with it, and the art is cute. The spring vibes have me super excited for the warmer months to come. I'm ready. I had fun with these prompts and with the theme this week. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a happy Easter if you indeed celebrate it. And until next time, which again will be Saturday next week, goodbye.